Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Infinity Countdown, issue number 5 of 5. That's it. This wraps up all of the stories. If you want proof, look in the back. All the boxes are checked. Well, highlighted. You get what I'm saying. All of these. So, all of these are what you're supposed to get. You can check out my reviews for every single one of these issues in the description below, because that's how we do it here. So, this was a very fun comic book. This was a really fun comic. Henry Pym dies, kind of. Something happens to Henry Pym where he may very well be dead, and Old Woman Gamora, as she's called. I love the old woman things. The Old Man Logan, Old Man whatever, all these different Old Man Hawkeye characters. The Old Woman Gamora, as she's called, really cool. I was digging that, man. What do you call it? Like, Gamora was just, she was just ruthless in this. And Henry Pym, I don't know, man. I can't wait to see what happens with that. That looks crazy. That looks really crazy. Doctor Strange gets a visit by Scarlet Witch, who schools Strange just a little bit, all right? When spycraft meets high-concept magic, that's... oh, man. Like, I almost wish I know that we had Magic Bullets, which was Punisher and Doctor Strange. That was cool. But you know what? I read this, and I would love to see Jerry Duggan. He wrote this, right? Didn't even check. Yes. I would love to see Jerry Duggan write a Natalia Romanova and Stephen Strange story. I just get the distinct feeling that would be a great little, like, 5-issue limited series that we would cherish. All right? Just, you know what? Mr. Duggan, prove me wrong. Well, don't prove me wrong. Prove me right. Anyway, he goes and he visits, what's his name? Turk. He goes and visits Turk. Turk, who has the Mind Stone. Now, Turk is a little bit more powerful than I think that he should be in here. He's got the Mind Stone. I get it. It is what it is. And he is Turk. He does have, like, there's funny concepts here, or funny conversation here about Stiltman. Turk is, at the same time, while he's kind of a joke, he has also been around a lot. Plus, with the advent of the Netflix Defender series and all that, Turk is a lot more than he was in the comic books. So, just like they're called the Time Stones in the comics now, like the MCU, as opposed to the Time Gems, they're advancing Turk and the storyline in maturity and putting him more on the dangerous level, like in the Netflix series. You know, he hasn't always been dangerous in the comic books. In fact, very few times has he actually been truly dangerous. Doctor Strange here gets to meet a version of Turk that's pretty wild. Now, you may consider that he was a little bit too powerful in this. I understand that, but he does have his Turk mind. That's where I'm coming from, and at the same time, he has had quite a bit of time to mess with this Mind Stone. So I get it. I do get it. The only other thing that somebody might complain about with this meeting is, well, why didn't Natalia go also? Because she would have been that third wheel that would have been able to catch him or something like that. Well, maybe. But at the same time, just the idea of having two soul stones right next to each other, right? He very briefly showed Natalia that he's got the Time Stone while she has the Space Stone. And then if all three of those stones were right next to Turk, that could have been a bad thing. So yeah, yeah, interesting. I thought that encounter went exactly how it should have. Anyway, a whole lot of other things happen in here. Gamora completely wigs out. She loses her crap. All right, she's out of this, man, punching anyone and everyone and trying to sword slice people. Like, she completely loses it in this. And the worst thing that she does is she actually turns a bunch of people on Star-Lord and Rocket and Groot, which is just, like, that was the worst part. She's genuinely lost it here. And I almost feel like we need to have a solo Gamora story just to really explore her coming back to the light, if she does ever actually come back to the light. Like, she went after Warlock. I mean, if you guys read the Warlock and the Infinity Watch and all the other stories involving her and her relationship with Warlock, That's a huge deal that she went after Warlock like that. And no matter what happens, she refuses to listen to reason. Really messed up. Dude, you're going to feel so bad for Hank Pym in this. Anyway, like both versions of Gamora lost their minds. What this is all leading up to is the very end where Doctor Strange is saying, hey man, I think that we're all going to have to work together. Big time. You know, to all the holders of the Infinity Gems, the Infinity Stones. We're all going to need to work together, so I implore you all, safe ground, safe meeting, come and meet me at this desired time and place so that we can discuss what's happening in the future. And what they show at the end is a terrifying, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man. So to be continued in Infinity Wars Prime. So up next is going to be Infinity Wars. And I stated very clearly that this comic book, they're going to have a lot to prove in this comic book to make me excited for Infinity Wars. All right. And, okay, fine. You've piqued my interest. All right. I'm more than just a little bit curious as to what's going to go down. There's going to be a whole bunch of new tie-ins, a whole bunch of new, you know, crossovers and all that stuff, and just a whole lot more money to spend, I guess. Just, as long as the story is good, all right? Otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to probably wind up stopping because, yeah, this is one of those stories where I get it, and at first it's on the top of my pile, and I'm just like, yeah, let me move this down a couple of notches and read a couple other stories first. I'm not ready to read this yet. So that says something. Anyway, writer, as I said, Jerry Duggan. Pencilers, Aaron Cooter and Mike Hawthorne. Jose Marzan Jr. joins Aaron Cooter also in the inks. And Jordan Belair is the color artist with Corey Petit on letters. So really, really good story here, all right? There's a lot of jumping around, which I think is important in a story like this, because they're just giving us, this is a countdown. This is a prequel to a much larger event. So, and this is still not considered one of Marvel's large events, even though it's cosmic grand scale, right? This is looking good. I am excited to see what's going to happen in the future. Aside from that, there's still going to be that trepidation because this was a little bit jumpy. But one thing is that the next issue, Countdown issue number 1, actually happens next week. We literally only have to wait 1 week for that. Since there were a couple issues here that were delayed, that could be a good sign. Maybe those delays allowed everybody else to catch up to the point where they can just literally, here you go, man. Let's just start throwing these issues at you. Grab these, read these, adrenaline, you know, that's what they could really use to build up the story a lot. Anyway, guys, till the next issue, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.